idea how successful censorship is on TV? Don't know the answer? Successful, isn't it?
I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. Gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything. No, it really has been a tough first year for you, Mr. President. Gas is up, gas is up, gas is up, everything. Rent is up, everything, everything, everything. Gas is up, rent is up, food is up, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
We need those I did that stickers. We need those stickers back. I will stick them everywhere. I'll put them on gas pumps, light posts, fucking dogs and cats, cop cars, anything. Anyways, I'm in a particularly good mood despite having just a regular jackass packed day. But I'll tell you what, before we get into stuff, number one, know that get your comments down below because I'm going to hear what you have to say. I want to say hey to Margaret O for sending a $5 friendly support chat on in. I appreciate that a whole lot. Thank you, Margaret. And now back to this. There's a lot of stuff going on, folks. A lot of stuff going on. And but I want to start with a funny story. I've gotten a lot of good humor out of, let's see, Bihana and Penelope and Bonnie and Heidi. And a lot of people have been super nice lately, and I really appreciate it. I can't name everyone, and now I feel bad. Anyways, this is what happened to me when I'm heading back to the Prepared Mind bunker. Keep an open mind, okay? I gotta go to the store. I gotta get some food. I gotta fucking eat, man. Anyways, I'm going to walk in the indoor at the Piggly Wiggly. You got an indoor, you got an outdoor. You go out the out and you go in the in. I start to go in the in, I turn the corner and bam, there's a fucking cop right there, city police. Pretty big guy too. He's probably 6'2", 240 pounds or so, big guy. Or he's just wearing he's wearing fucking SWAT gear, right? Full on SWAT. And I look at him, right? I've got my sunglasses on. I look at him. He looks at me and he goes, hey. And I'm like, oh shit, this guy fucking recognizes me. He's going to jack my shit up. And he goes, I got to ask you a question, man. I got to ask you a question. I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Right? And again, this cop, big black dude, all black, decked out, SWAT shit. I'm like, okay, what do you got? He goes, I got to know, man. He starts smiling at him. He goes, what state you from? And I was like, California. And he goes, see, I got you. I'm like, fuck, I didn't do it. And he goes, no, man. He goes, normally when I meet someone as tall as you and I annoy my wife out with this, he goes, because I'm always annoying her because when I see tall people, they get tired of being asked how tall they are. So I ask them where they're from to fuck with them. I'm like, this fucking cop is fucking with me, right? And I start laughing at this fucking guy. And I'm, right? I just gave him a big slap on the back of his bulletproof vest. I said, no, you're fucking with me, right? And and he goes, yeah. And he goes, don't you get tired of hearing that? I go, yeah, in a way, kind of. I go, but I was expecting you to think that I was, and he goes, Kevin Nash, huh? And I go, yeah, Kevin Nash. He goes, have you seen him lately? And I go, what, do you think I'm his fucking body double? I go, no, I haven't seen him, not in person. He goes, no, I mean on TV. I go, yeah, I'm kind of getting there. So getting some more gray in here. And the guy started laughing. So I fucking give him a punch in the shoulder, like, get the fuck out of here. And then I turned around. He starts laughing and walks off with his basket full of groceries. Who goes shopping for groceries and fucking SWAT gear? The only thing he didn't have, literally, was a M16 over his shoulder or an MP9. Anyways, bizarre interaction. And I thought, why did this guy? I mean, he was a nice guy. It totally caught me off guard. This is after being, getting nice messages from P and everyone else all day. Everyone was just in a good mood. And I'm like, what? That guy was in a good mood. It's October 3rd, right? We're not all dead. Then I thought, John, you idiot, you just punched a cop in the arm and sent him out the door. You're not supposed to do that. You're setting a bad example for others. They go and punch him in the shoulder. They'll probably take him to the fucking ground. Anyways, it was a hell of a start. The guy acted like we've been friends forever. It was just one of those weird fucking things. And I certainly don't expect that from police these days, even though there were 4 of them out on the road last night, and they were walking down the road, 4 city cops. I was like, hey, can I help you guys? I'm thinking I'm in trouble. And they're like, no. And they're just kind of lollygagging. Fucking cops lollygagging, laughing on the, what are you guys doing here? Can I help you with something? And they're like, no, we're just going to deal with this thing over here. You don't got to worry about it. I was like, all right, you guys be cool. Just what the fuck is going on? Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, where we talk about shit hitting the fan and cops who are comedians. And then we've got former generals who I don't find funny at all. General Mike Flynn has an ominous prognostication. He says that 2024 may be the last election we have as a republic. There it is, folks. Be ready. I think they're telling us flat out that we're going to have Mad Max hot spots in this country. I can't help but agree with General Flynn, who is a Trumpster. He's a little Trumpy, you know. He looks a little Trumpy. Yeah. That's how I see it. I just don't see us going. If Trump wins, it's a shitstorm. If Trump loses, it's a shitstorm. I would rather have Trump win and be a little more on the offense than not, and have them hating the hell out of Trump in D.C. and then him attacking them in D.C. and D.C. goes up in fucking flames. Oh boy, I tell you, what a world. Let's see, what am I doing? I'm getting Jolene, getting New Man on the horn here. I think I got Jolene, or is it just you, man? Anyways, let's start out. Today is October 3rd. Tomorrow, we all die. I sure hope not. I really don't. I really don't. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that cop story. It was very funny. I mean, they're definitely different down here in the South, cops. And I think that, anyways, it's a different world, folks. We got some different crazy shit going on. Now, up north, not so good as it is down south. So I've got a story here. Up in New York City, that clown ass of a judge, that far left loony Judge Engoron, guess what he has done? He's issued a gag order on Trump, on everybody. A clown judge. This guy is Satan. Yesterday, he's clowning it up and making faces at the camera. And today, guess what he did, though? He came out and admitted, this is years ago. I can't remember if it was a video or like a Twitter post, said he could sway a jury one way or the other. He could sway a jury by manipulating their emotions. Why would anybody say this except that they're fucking idiots in the Democrat side of thinking? Just like Joe Biden. Yeah, I told that guy in Ukraine that if you don't stop your investigation of Hunter, then you don't get no $1 billion. And by golly, he stopped investigating my son. He tells that to a whole fucking crowd of people. That's how stupid these people are. Stupid. And speaking of stupid, Kevin McCarthy, Kevin Do-Nothing McCarthy, Kevin Shitheel McCarthy, Speaker of the House. They tried to have a vote to get rid Congressman Matt Gaetz's motion, and he failed. It's going to go to a vote, folks. I hope to hear it. Someone, Uman, are you there, brother? Uman, he's on board, folks. He's conscious. He's not choking on a burrito. All right. Let me know if they throw McCarthy out on his fucking ear. Anyways, this is what McCarthy said. He goes, quote, if 5 Republicans go with the Democrats, then I'm out. Why would the Democrats want McCarthy out? He has done everything that Joe Biden wants. He has. He wants motion to vacate. You bet. They're like on vacation with this fucking guy. They're not having to assume leadership, and they're getting all their shit they want. But I think, hey, McCarthy, why don't you just fucking change parties, you dickhead? You'll fit right in with those people. You'll be choking on a sausage on a nightly basis. Good golly. You guys know what the hell I'm saying. Choking on a sausage. These fucking people, the weirdos in D.C., we know what they are. We know what a bunch of fruitcakes they are in Washington, D.C., in the Pentagon. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hit the fan. There is we got such bad moral decay. And here's the evidence. It's been there for a long fucking time. Pardon my bellicosity. Diversity, equity, inclusion. They had a Pentagon official arrested, folks, a Pentagon official, a fucking deputy chief in the Department of Defense. Guess what he's been doing for 20 fucking years? Running a dogfighting ring. He's been arrested for that. Well, he's alleged, John. No, he's been arrested for that. They can go play that alleged shit in court. That's right, folks. A high-ranking Pentagon official has been running a dogfighting ring for 20 years. Can't he call it a sexual preference? And then they're like, hey, he identifies as a dogfighting sexy person. I don't fucking know. They're a bunch of weirdos. You got people in fishnet stockings and lipsticks with freaking penises in the military. But we can't have dogfighting. Anyways, Michael Vick and all, the dogfighting exists. The chicken fighting exists. It's cruel. It's nasty. It's mean. It's illegal. And this fucking guy is doing it. A member of the federal government, a member of the Department of Defense, an employee at the Pentagon, a deputy chief. But it's not new. 20 years ago, President Bush, George W., was in charge. That's at least how long this clown's been doing it. When we say the corruption, the perversion, it's been there a long time, folks. The swamp didn't back up with turds just last week. It's been going there for a while. Now, we got some more for you. We're supposed to respect government. Over 100 survivors have been rescued and 160 arrests were made in human trafficking sting operation up in Ohio. Guess who the participants were that were arrested? People who were self-employed, delivery drivers, retirees, old people. How about this? Former law enforcement officers, EMT, that's right, emergency medical technician, nurses, and of course, everyone repeat after me, teachers. There were 104 survivors of this human trafficking ring that was broken up. Now, I need to make this note because I realized that human trafficking isn't just kidnapping children and selling them as sex slaves, or kidnapping women and selling them for sex slaves. Apparently now, human trafficking is just being a hooker or if you're a pimp, right? Anyways, there's a note here I want to make. The victims are not just children in this case, but adults who are prostitutes or being prostituted, forced into prostitution, either against their will or as a result of a personal choice or to provide sexual services. They're considered human trafficking survivors. 104. 104 people, but 160 were arrested. Now, the youngest person arrested was 17. The oldest person arrested was 84. Now, I have a question. Here's a question. Wasn't the term sex worker supposed to apply to strippers and others who make a living providing sex work? What the fuck is sex work? Isn't sex work legitimate, legal work? What is sex work? What's a sex worker? Someone fucking help me out here. Throw me a bone. What is a sex worker besides a stripper? A fucking porn star? Is that a sex worker? Is it legitimate and legal? Right? Why were tax dollars being given to sex workers during COVID lockdowns? It just, when they were doing that, it just seemed to me like they're sending the pimp down there with a purple fucking felt hat and the green feather in it, the checkerboard suit, like they were sending him my tax money so he didn't have to send his hose out to get some money for him. I don't know. What a day, right? Notwithstanding someone who is forced to provide sex work is stripping and grinding on someone's lap fine, but actual sexual contact is wrong when it comes to prostitutes. There's a lot of fucking gray area in here. These people are crazy. I'm glad that they're breaking up these human trafficking networks, which do, by and large, entrap, trick, drug women, get them into this situation, as well as getting kids and kidnapping them and selling. It's awful stuff, folks. I'm glad that they got this thing. They need to come out and explain some stuff. They really do. And I've got more on this. Where the heck was this? Wow. Is this the one I wanted? Folks, there is a war going on right now. World War III has started. It's being fought in Russia and Ukraine. It's being fought around the world against our civilization. It's not against just one country. It's against intelligence and civilization. Our world is being attacked. Socialist left-wing German idiots in government are demanding censorship because Elon Musk used his Twitter X corporation to point out that 8 German ships that are operating under a non-government organization, an NGO corporate move. They are picking up, carrying, and dumping illegal aliens into Italy. Yeah, they're throwing a fit because they're being exposed. That means they don't like us here. They don't like you, so keep doing what you do. It's hurting them. We're raising awareness. We're letting the world know what the hell is going on. And I love it. I really do. I totally love the fact that we're putting the hurt on these people. Now, this was a big deal. This one set me off today. Oh, by the way, let me help remind you. Hey, Jolene. Jolene is now in the house. This was huge. This one set me off. A far left activist. And you're like, John, we know all about it. He was shot for being whatever, and he's a journalist. No, this is another one, another far left activist. This one was stabbed to death by a raging lunatic near a bus stop in New York City. He was stabbed to death in front of his girlfriend, who did not come to his rescue. He was stabbed to death, and his girlfriend just watched. Far left, radical, activist, leftist, stabbed to death. So I have this question to ask. And again, we need to turn our keen minds on this and think about it. What have we seen in America since Joe Biden became president? What have we seen really in the last 3 months increase tremendously? Last 3 months. Let's see. A Minnesota politician. She was violently beaten, hospitalized, and had her car stolen. Remember that story? How about violent trans fruitcakes beating and killing family members? Yep, that one's there. The gay reporter brutally murdered that I mentioned the other day. And I said, no, it's not a right-wing person. It's probably a love tryst, right? Someone threw a tantrum, killed this guy. How about the Chicago felony crime rate is way up in Chicago. How about this? The Illinois congressman saying people are being threatened, and by people he means himself, and they're being hunted by wacko criminals. That's how unsafe his unsavory hometown is. You got Andy Ngo, who's a gay independent reporter who is being threatened, censored, and silenced, plus threats from other leftists. Noticing something here? Criminals who are leftist and criminals who benefit from leftist policies. And Andy Ngo, by the way, was one who had his brains beaten in and almost suffered permanent brain damage. And he just may have. I mean, how do you know? Oh, okay. Oh, this is a big one. Today, reported today, a Washington, D.C. Democrat congressman. No, he didn't do anything good. He was carjacked in his own fucking driveway at gunpoint. Thugs, 3 thugs. How do you like your defund the police now? Yeah, he supports the defund the police. What a jackass, right? And today, also today, this leftist activist was brutally stabbed to death publicly, broad daylight in front of his girl. Oh, by the way, let's just ask the question while we're in this room here. How many political enemies were Arkancided? I think Uman says we're still waiting for the bodies to float to the surface. Anyways, across the nation, illegal immigrants are kidnapping, murdering, and raping everyone they can, including little girls. The point is, Democrat crime and immigration policies and their no bail release into public are resulting in robberies, theft, kidnappings, lootings, beatings, assaults, rapes, and murder. Keep up the good work, Democrats. You own this shit. Let's go, Brandon. Folks, we've got to be aware of everything. You must be aware and prepared. No, one more thing. Notice this isn't happening in Republican areas of the nation where citizens legally carry self-defense weapons and are allowed to defend themselves and encouraged to defend themselves and will defend themselves, and they do defend themselves. If you go to a Democrat shithole, look out. And they, folks, let's make this very clear. I've said that these wacko leftist activists, they think they're going to change the world in their communist revolution. They're going to be the first ones exterminated when their masters get full control. And maybe in this case, their masters won't even have to do it. They'll just let the thugs on the street do it. Folks, I'm going to go on to this one. I can't stay away from it. Tucker Carlson. I talk about Nazi Germany. I talk about Chairman Mao's China when they took over as communists. And of course, the Russian takeover and revolution that occurred, where they completely murdered the entire royal family, the Romanov family, including bayoneting to death the daughters of the Tsar. Well, Tucker Carlson wanted to talk about the topic as well. And he had some interesting things to bring up. And I figured, well, fuck it. I'm here. I may as well do it. I may as well cover what Tucker covered. Okay. This is an article in the Gateway Pundit by Michael Schwarz. May the Schwarz be with you. And he ends up covering Tucker Carlson's commentary. And he says that Carlson drew these parallels while delivering the keynote speech at the Intercollegiate Study Institute's 70th anniversary gala. Sounds like a hell of a party if you're going to talk about what actually happened in Russia during their communist takeover. Right? Here we go. If you've got children, you may want to put your fingers in their ears. Carlson described the memoirs of a Russian general, Pyotr Wrangel. That's Peter. And he fought for Tsar Nicholas in World War I, folks, which went from 1914 to 18. And then he fought against the Bolsheviks in the Russian Civil War of 1917 to 1923. Interesting, they were fighting the World War I battle as well as, well, the Russian Revolution, the Civil War, at the same time. Now, General Wrangel, who supported and was a loyal general to the Tsar, he said that upon returning from the front lines to the Russian capital of St. Petersburg, he witnessed the barbaric takeover and actions in the Bolshevik Revolution. There's a quote, soldiers are going crazy in the streets and they're raping women. They're stealing at gunpoint. Soldiers in uniform. And then he noted that a lot of Russians didn't seem to really care. Quote, he goes into a movie theater and everyone in the movie theater is completely absorbed in the movie. Like there's no revolution happening outside. That's what Carlson said. So the parallel between the two is people that can afford to go into the movie theater, like our middle class today, they're too busy being entertained to pay attention to what's going on out in the street, the revolution. Carlson said this, the general noticed about 4 out of 5 of the women in the Romanov family, and there's a lot of women, wore red ribbons in solidarity with the Bolsheviks. So they sided with the Bolsheviks. 4 out of 5 of the women. That would be like 4 out of 5 women today think it's cute to support LGBT crap. And it's cute to support BLM, Antifa, and all these left-wing causes because they want everyone to know that their heart cares. 80%, 4 out of 5, supported the Bolsheviks. And we knew how that ended for the Romanov family. They were all bayoneted to death. Noticing the parallel here? A lot of women today, not on this channel because you're informed, you're intelligent, you're thinking, and you're looking at what's going on. But all those other dumb women out there, as well as the dumb men, got their heads buried in their ass, were busy supporting the causes. I support trans. Well, they're still going to devour you and eat you. Right? People who can afford to be entertained, afford to not pay attention, it's a mess. So yeah, Carlson drew these parallels from the early 1900s to 100 years later, where we're at now. And he notices a revolution going on in our country. Anyways, let us continue. This is Tucker Carlson. Quote, this is a revolution. Its aim is to hurt you. Yes, that would include physically in the end, sorry. He says, if someone tells you you're not allowed to speak, if someone tells you your children are not your children, okay, these are not ideological differences. This is Tucker Carlson. This is not, oh, I prefer, that capital gains rate. No, he says this. He says, these are totalitarian measures that treat you as non-human. Now, back to the article. Tucker Carlson identified woke efforts to sexualize children as a particularly dangerous manifestation of leftist totalitarianism that parents must resist. Tucker says, quote, people don't pause to consider the implications of this. If someone says to you, I have the right to make your children hate you, or to say weird, creepy sex stuff to your kids, what's a valid response to that? Carlson asked in a rather rhetorical manner. He says, well, in a healthy society, if someone says weird, creepy sex stuff to your 8th grader, you get your gun. Pretty harsh words coming from Tucker Carlson, who is a parent. Oh, you're calling for violence, right? Because he was mocking the objections people would have. And Tucker said, yeah, you try and sexualize my children? What? These are my children. If you're trying to sexualize my children, I go right to force. And if I can't do that, I'm not ready. I'm not really their father, am I? I am calling for natural law. I call for applying natural law to American life, he said. It sounds to me, and I am not accusing Tucker Carlson of inciting violence, but it sounds to me like he is calling to arms everyone. Not to go commit violence, but to have yourself at the ready, to be a prepper, in other words, and be prepared for this to get a lot worse. I really think that his comparison of 1917, 18, 19 Russia to 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, I think they are strikingly similar. And the consequences of our failure is also shockingly plausible. Now, the author of the article on Gateway Pundit says, for one thing, Marxists pursue power by posing as friends of the poor and oppressed. Then when they acquire power, Marxists render the lives of the poor and oppressed more miserable than ever. You and I both understand that. It's one of the reasons, just one of the reasons we oppose communism. And draws this thought here. The lives of those who supported Black Lives Matter have not improved. And then I'll ask the question, has life in the cities in America gotten better since 2020? Only for criminals, folks. Only for criminals who now don't have to worry about being punished. Do they? Not a whole lot of punishment going on. I know I went a little long, folks, but I felt it was important. It is time to get prepared. And now it is time for the inner circle. That's your guys' questions, comments, thoughts, predictions. And we're back. Okay, I don't even know what the heck is going on out there. Uman's in charge. Jolene's in charge. We've got some questions, comments, thoughts. What do you want to talk about? Who's up first? Who's on first? And Uman says, oh, this, my friend, is good news. Thank you, brother. He says, looks like McCarthy. That would be Kevin Shitheel, do nothing, lighten the loafers, asswipe McCarthy. That's his more common term that's used for him. The vote was 216 to throw his ass out of the speaker's chair. 210 voted nay for retention. Looks like he has been ousted. Yep, it was only going to take a simple majority vote. The vote could be called for by any one single member of Congress. And who was that member of Congress? That member of Congress was Representative Matt Gaetz, who has shown enough backbone, enough fortitude, enough heart, enough brains, and enough balls to do that. Now, let's take one more step forward and look. Who the hell are they going to replace jackass McCarthy with? You see, at a point like this, The American people have had enough of this jackassery. They've had enough. The American people, not the politicians, and certainly not the majority of the American people, but the real thinking, patriotic American people have had enough of this shit. Of Ukraine, of Biden, of the open border, of Hunter, of the destruction of our education systems, our legal systems, our medical systems, our military systems. Have you noticed everything the government is in charge of is being destroyed? You want to get healthy? Don't go to a doctor. You need to win a war? Don't call on the Pentagon. They'll fuck it all up. They'll surrender. You want your kids educated? Don't send them to school. You need a serious legal question answered? Don't go to court. Just ask Trump. Need I say more? That's good. Who are they going to replace him with? Hopefully it's someone like Getz. I don't think Getz will get it. He's going to look like a hatchet man already. But maybe he will. Maybe the other Republicans go, yeah, you know, we know that there are a bunch of shitheels here. Maybe we'll vote in Matt Getz and let him take more arrows. Oh, don't forget, folks, that Getz is being investigated by a bunch of rhino Republicans who want to expel him from Congress. How about if you investigate Ilhan Omar, who married her fucking brother to get him in the country? You heard me right. Allegedly, well, I'm pretty sure that they reported that shit. Tell me if I'm wrong. Who hates America, who is an anti-Semite, anti-Israel, did I say America? Because she's anti-American. She's a pile of shit who wasn't even born in this country, should not be serving in Congress, only represents her radicalized, anti-American ways. Ilhan Omar. Why don't you expel that bitch? Well, I don't think they're going to expel Matt Getz, folks. But he needs to watch his back. Yes, he does. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ooman. Who do we have up next, Jolene? Oof, we got chin music, another fire-breathing dragon. He says the demon rats got everything they wanted in the CR. We got... Man, he says we got fisted again with no warm-up. Yeah. The Democrats have gotten everything they wanted, folks. Kevin McCarthy did nothing for us. The Speaker of the House, the Republicans, they need a platform. They don't need more old hand asswipes. Why don't they get rid of and vote? Oh, never mind. They can't get rid of Mitch McConnell because he is too well embedded, has too much, shall we say, too many control files on the other senators for anyone. Plus, there's so much more effete and astute in the Senate that they would never throw him out of leadership, but they should. Anyways, it's hard to want to support these people. I become more cynical. Believe it or not, I actually become even more cynical every fucking day I hear about these people not doing their jobs, not living up to their oaths, not seeing the dangers we're in. But folks, you and I talk about it. That's why me and you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan to understand. They're going to burn it down in 2024, folks. The worse it looks for Biden, Kamala Harris, Kathy Hochul, or even Big Mike, if he throws his balls into the ring and runs as Mr. Obama Part 2, right? Good God, folks, we've got a big problem in front of us. We got a big problem. I hope you're enjoying the show. It's Tuesday Tantrums. I'm not having the tantrum. I'm just calling them like I see them. Let's do this. Let's do some more questions, comments, and thoughts. Get yours in because we've got, folks, you've got the second half of the show. Charles Gentry steps up and he says, here is something to think on. Sun Tzu's first rule of war is all war is based on deception. Hannibal's first truth was enemy. When you look at me, don't see something you hate. See everything you love the most. For that is what I will surely rip from you if you ever rise against me. Now flip that and consider what is it that our enemies want to rip from us? Our children, our precious republic, our freedoms is what they want to rip from us, Charles. They want to take our national identity. They want to take our self-respect. They want to take our culture, our traditions, our beliefs, our law and order, our beloved military that is made up of Americans who are willing to risk their lives and even sacrifice themselves to protect their fellow countrymen, their fellow Americans, as well as our allies around the world. That's what they go there for. Instead, they get sent on these missions, which are questionable and dubious many times. Now, let's see Charles Gentry's first statement, please. Charles wrote that the first rule of war is all war is based on deception. Sometimes I wonder about Sun Tzu. I think he's talking about the psychology of it. It's really basically the art of war is psychology, right? Psyops, COINTELPRO, right? Stuff that didn't have a name back then. The first rule of war, I think, is more along the lines of Conan the Barbarian, right? Leading up to a war, there's going to be a lot of Sun Tzu propaganda and philosophy and psychology. But when you get on the battlefield, you crush the enemy and you see them driven before you. That's what Conan said, right? And to hear the lamentation of the women, right? But someone like Hannibal said, when you look at me, don't see something you hate. Look at me and see something you love, because you can come up against me, I'll crush you. I'll take what's valuable, precious to you. That's what the government is doing, folks, except you didn't come up against the government, did you? Did you attack the government? Did you violate the government? Did you take guns and try and throw over the government? No, but you did viciously attack the government. Every time one of us talks about the government being full of evil, corrupt, nasty, sick, perverted bastards, that's exposing them, and that to them is an attack. Voting for Trump, putting Trump in the White House, was a vicious attack against Democrats, against rhinos, against career scumbag bureaucrat politicians who are not elected but appointed. By putting Trump out there, the entire deep state apparatus that extends from elected officials to appointed bureaucrats to the military industrial complex, the medical industrial complex, the industrial complex, they're all working together, and by putting Trump in there and pointing him at them, they feel that we pointed a gun at their heads, and now they are punishing us. They are attacking all that is precious, dear, and valuable. And they're not going to stop now, because they're in this to win this. And that is really the only way you should fight a war. They're going to have to give up in Ukraine, by the way. They're going to have to give up. At least the battlefield game. They don't have the people to go. They're running out of, well, military equipment as well. And this is absolutely awful that this has happened. Thank you, Charles. This is a serious issue, folks. The Pentagon has now come to Congress, and it's public. The Pentagon is running low on cash. Oh, why don't we just go print some more? You know, modern monetary theory. It won't hurt anything to just print all you want. Anyways, they need to replace the weapons that have been sent to Ukraine, meaning they don't have the weapons they need. It's a serious issue, folks. Biden and Milli Vanilli General Milli Vanilli. Oh, Lipstick Vanilli Man. They did this. McCarthy helped do this. That's right. Kevin Shitheel McCarthy, former Speaker of the House, helped create the situation we're in. What a world, folks. SHTF. The more they waste their missiles, jets, helicopters, rockets, tanks, bombs, artillery, grenades, the more they lose those very powerful weapons, guess what? The more important and valuable your weapon is. Let me explain. Imagine you and, well, 10 of your friends had to face off against a bunch of Antifa and BLM types, and they stole an MRAP, and they had some explosive stuff, a grenade launcher. They have a couple of law rockets, aka bazooka, right? They have those things, and every time they fire one off in one of their insane tantrums, because they're idiots, shooting from the hip, just launching shit off because it makes a bunch of noise. Every time you see one of their missiles, bombs, rockets being wasted, you're thinking, okay, the ammunition I have is becoming more valuable because they're wasting what they have. Every time these people, folks, waste what should be protecting our country, what we have to defend our country and take back our control becomes all the more powerful. Just understand that. It's like counting down. You know someone's got a handgun over there, and every time they fire off a bullet, you know that they're running out of ammo. At some point, they're going to stop. It's because they're out. And at that point, all the ammunition in your magazine is going to be the ammunition that wins. I tell you, there's so much strategy here that's being played against us, but they're also weakening themselves, folks. I guess, well, I mean, I'm waiting for the military industrial contractors to provide all the ammunition, rockets, and missiles that the government needs, of course, at a new higher cost because of inflation. Inflation. Oh, by the way, speaking of inflation, the strength of the dollar is going through the roof. The market has taken a shit. I think in the past month, the Dow Jones has come down 2,000 points, taking quite a hit, quite a shot to the shorts, right? A punch to the pills. Not so good. Don't expect it to get any better, folks. I expect it to get worse. Worse. All right, let's do this. Who else has something to say? It's Chin Music again. He says, John, they get in the boat. Have a vote. Schnitzel or pasta? Pasta it is. Set the headings for Naples. The Germans who are running these boats for non-government organizations, NGOs, like, you know, the ones that George Soros funds. Yes, George Soros funds anti-civilization programs. They don't want the schnitzel, right? The Germans, they'll take all of these worthless third world dregs and dump them in Italy. Pasta it is. But Germany does have their own problem up there, folks. I just, for me to think of the idea, someone said, John, look, we're going to pay you $100,000 a year. What you need to do is get on this boat. We're going to sail over to Tripoli, you know, where the halls of Montezuma are. And he goes, we sail over to Tripoli. We're going to sail over to Marrakesh. We're going to sail over there and pick up all these worthless sons of bitches. And we're going to take them across the Mediterranean. And we're going to dump them in another country. It's, as far as I see it, it's an act of war. It's an aggressive act that is going to destroy Italy and other countries. Not to mention the safety and concern people should have for their women and children with these freaks out there. Just awful. It's just awful. All right. I just don't even know what to say. It's just, I can't imagine having that for a job. I really don't. Oh my goodness. This is sent to me by Uman. He says the guy named Patrick McHenry is the Speaker Pro Tem. Patrick McHenry of North Carolina. Wow. He looks like a complete and total nerd. I don't know if he's a tough guy. I don't know anything about him. Literally, I know nothing about him. First impression, weak nerd. He's not an overly handsome shyster like Mitt Romney or a shyster like Senator Schumer. He looks like a very weak nerd. I hope he is not. We need someone in there who is strong in character, strong in voice, and strong in action. But he is the Speaker Pro Tem. So we'll go with that for now. Thank you, Mr. Uman. I wonder why they picked him. I guess I'll find out when I get done with the show. We've got another 8 minutes or so right here, right now. And I want to know what you want to talk about. What is on your mind? Who has something to say? And it is H12. Heidi. Says, John, I heard that the ATF has warned the Texas federal firearms license holders that cartels are looking to purchase 50 caliber and belt-fed rifles. Yikes. Well, I'm pretty sure belt-fed rifles are a little bit on the rare side. Additionally, 50 caliber rifles are not commonly sold, right? But let's just say a couple of things here. We need the ATF to tell us how the federal government has fucked up the border, giving control over to the drug cartels of Mexico, and now the ATF is helping us? Really? The FFL or the ATF wants to pretend like they're the good guys? Or are they going to set this up as a ropa-dopa? We need to take these FFLs away in Texas because we got too many cartel members there, and we don't want them to get our 50 caliber and our belt-fed rifles. You know how many belt-fed rifles I've seen in stores, folks? None. Anyways, I know they're out there. You just don't see them. Anyways, unless you have a class 3 FFL. Anyways, let's do this, folks. Let's think about it. If I was a cartel member and I had tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars at my disposal, and I need guns, am I going to cross the border into the United States of America and buy an AR-15, some 30-round mags? Why would I do that when I could make a few calls to Hunter, make a few calls to China, make a few calls to Ukraine, make a few calls to Somalia, make a few calls anywhere else on the planet and get fully automatic weapons, belt-fed if you wish? Why would you bother buying a legal weapon when you can get a black market U.S. military-grade weapon that you paid for as Americans, sent over to Ukraine, was put in the back of a Volkswagen Passat, and then driven back across the demilitarized zone, and then shipped over to Central America and Mexico? I think, Heidi, and I really do appreciate the update on this and the news on this, is that the ATF is playing games, trying to scare the American people, knowing that by putting any information out there, it'll be shared through all of the alternative media sites, meaning social media. We are far better at spreading the word and spreading messages than ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and CNN combined. Literally, there is more communication between people like you and me and all of us and all of our friends out there than they do when they get, oh, I got 200,000 people tonight on ABC. Ooh, stand back. Millions and millions and millions of us are communicating. Not just one or two stories like the mainstream media. Like, and tonight the news story is that the Speaker of the House has been kicked out of the office. Now we're going to go to 6 or 7 commercials. We'll come back and then tell you the same thing again. And welcome back. Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, has been removed by the fascist Nazi Matt Gaetz in another attempted insurrection. More after these messages, right? And they come back. They got 1 or 2 news stories. We talk dozens, folks, every day. And it's because of people like you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for helping each other. Thank you for, well, getting ready to fight for America, because that's what we've got, a fight for America. Be back after these messages. All right, man, what we got? And it's chin music again. He says, hey, Democrat Henry Cuellar, Democrat Henry Cuellar from my fair state got carjacked at gunpoint in D.C. Yep, we covered that, man. He's the jackass who was at his own apartment. Yeah, from the state of Texas, Congressman Fuckwad goes out to his car and gets carjacked at gunpoint. How does that gun control work in Washington, D.C.? Gun got pointed at his head, right? Give us your car keys. How does that white privilege going, or brown privilege, or black privilege? Oh, there is no privilege. You're a victim when it comes to criminality. No privilege allowed. Hand over the keys. He's lucky he didn't get the absolute living shit beat out of him. He may have told him, hey, look, you know, I'm a U.S. congressman from Texas. And they're like, yeah, so what, motherfucker? Give us your keys, biatch. Right? You know he's lucky he didn't get his ass beat. They probably figured if they murdered him, though, that they would get caught. So they just want to steal his car. But yeah, Henry Cuellar, he's a Democrat. He supports defunding the police. How do you like it now? I bet these 3 guys that stole his car probably committed crimes just yesterday, the day before, the week before that. If they were ever caught and arrested, I'm sure they were just let go. It's like, you know, they haven't murdered anyone yet, so we'll just let them go. That's how they roll, folks. That is exactly how they roll. Yeah. Democrat Alderman says innocent people are being hunted like prey. Gotta love these Democrat idiots. I tell you what, let's do another one. Let's do one more. Hey, Jolene, who do we want to toss up there? It is Mikey G, who says, he's giving us some Sun Tzu. Appear weak when strong. Appear strong when weak. You know, I do love the Sun Tzu, and it's all situational. It's all situational. Let me ask you the question. If you are strong and you're trying to get people to listen to you, you're trying to rally people to defend their neighborhood, to help others out, do you want to appear weak? No, you want to appear strong, and then that strength will help you lead people. Oh, John, but the Sun Tzu is for dealing with your enemy, right? Oh, okay, so you've got BLM, and there's 100 of them out there. But you have got 100 people who are well armed also. You're strong. Do you want to appear weak to a bunch of cowards like Antifa and BLM? You see, when these people see weakness, they attack it. If they see weakness or something that appears to be weak, they'll take advantage of it because they're cowards. They don't have honor and dignity. So if you are going to face off against Antifa, You look weak, you're going to encourage them and let them believe in their head that they can defeat you. Now, I know there's a lot more to this philosophy, Mikey, and I don't think you're wrong at all. I think you're absolutely right. There's a way to play everything in every given circumstance and situation. Having access to the wisdom, having experience in using it is key, right? But ultimately, it's going to come down to no one is going to protect you better than you can protect yourself. No one's going to take care of you better than you can take care of yourself. So get prepared with all the things you need: food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get prepared up here, because this is where the battle will be won and lost. And yes, right? Yes, don't call attention to yourself. That's the gray man thing. You know, you can appear weak so people leave you alone. But if you need to, right, you've got to man up. You got to grow a pair real quick. Right? That's when you porcupine up. Anyways, good stuff. And if you're weak, well, you better appear strong and try and dissuade people from fucking with you. It's just going to be messy, folks. I really think people in big cities and suburbia are going to face issues greater than 2020. Trump is going to be the candidate out there, folks. So we're going to have to deal with it. Like I said, in a lot of ways, it's a good thing I need him to win. It's going to be a hell of a fight to get there. It's going to be a hell of a fight to get inaugurated. It's going to be a hell of a fight in this country. And this very well may be the last vote as a republic until we go through an entire spat of SHTF, civil war, strife, crap, and social disharmony. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi.